how do we define strategy? There's different answers. You go to NUS, you've got one definition. You go across the road to INSEAD, not that you would go across the road, but if you went across the road to INSEAD, they give you a different answer. We don't have a common definition of what strategy is. In fact, just a couple of years ago, I had the pleasure of hearing Michael Porter talking. And I was over in Dubai with one of my clients, and I was sitting in the audience like yourself, and Michael Porter was the final presenter. We'd had people like Jack Welch and Tom Peters. You know, it was a great platform. And I was waiting for Porter, because I first heard him when the Singapore government used to bring him in a lot in the early 90s. I got invited to some of his talks. And he was on stage in Dubai, and he's on stage, and he's standing there, and he's about to say, strategy is, and I was sitting in the audience with my pen and paper, because Michael Porter, professor of Harvard strategy, was about to give me the definition. I was ready. And he's on stage. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever seen him while he's been in Singapore, but when Porter used to present, this was the way he'd present on stage. He would present like this. I'm going to be talking to you today about strategy implementation. About strategy. And I'm going to be discussing the different ways that it impacts your business. And then I'm going to be talking about the 5 forces. And you were like, huh? And his cognitive pattern, the rate he thinks at, is phenomenal. Well, when I saw him in Dubai, somebody had obviously trained him as he got more famous and said, you have to stand with one foot slightly in front of the other, look at your audience, and stand still. So he was standing there, and he goes, strategy is, and I'm like, yeah. Strategy is something that most organizations don't have. Huh? I was like, huh? What are you talking? And he went on to explain that companies don't have good strategies. They fall into it. You know, the classic example, Apple. Apple didn't set out to conquer the digital music business. You know, Apple didn't sit around. I mean, Steve Jobs gets so much praise, but he didn't have a strategy that said, we're going to dominate digital music and create the best MP3 player and create the best equivalent, whatever, iTunes, yeah? He fell into it. Napster was being banned. Everybody was going, boo, Napster. And Steve Jobs, with all his genius, went, what a great opportunity. If people want to share music, let's create the platform. iTunes was created in a very short period of time, months, not years of R&D. Within months, iTunes was launched, had a target to sell 1 million songs in 6 months, sold the first 1 million in 4 weeks. As a result, then he realized, duh, people want not only music on the computer, they want, you know, not a Discman anymore, but an MP3 player. And he created the iPod, and of course, you know, it's become part of the way we all work. Now, strategy is one of these puzzling things. We've never really defined it, okay? But I put it as strategy is making the right choices. When you have a strategy, you know what to say no to. It's a matter of choices. Should we go cross-border? Should we look at emerging markets? Should we develop into Europe? Should we If you have the strategy, you know the answer to the questions. So if strategy is the right choice, then implementation is all about taking the right actions.